quick review of the Verizon, I guess, next generation. Although it's a few years old, wireless charging pad. This is a quick charger, 15 watts, so not super fast or ultra fast charging, but certainly better than their old one. This is the VCW, the 3, and this is version 4. I kind of like the stand-up one just because it kept the phone more aligned. Anyway, a lot of complaints about this Verizon unit. Not a single YouTube video as far as I could tell. And I'm sure Verizon has suckered probably tens of thousands of people into this. It does have a USB-C input. A lot of the complaints about this is either heating up, and I've certainly experienced that with various wireless chargers. It kind of depends on the device and the specific charger, it seems. But some chargers do, and generally wireless, because you're setting up a transformer between the charging pad and the phone or whatever device, primarily phones, does add extra losses and extra heat. So I've always tried to cable charge, but they're nice as backup in case you break or damage report or something like that. It's just a lot of them have issues, and that's what it seems with on this Verizon is some people it works perfectly. I've tried this one out, and it seems to work fine. A lot of people have had a lot of problems. Problems with overheating. Problems with it actually not initiating a quick charge. Problems with it not initiating a charge through a case. I have a Galaxy S8 Active here with a pretty darn thick case. It actually works through it. It won't quick charge, but I generally recommend going into the power settings on the phone and actually doing a slower charge, forcing it to do a slow wireless charge. Other issues is I believe Verizon was selling this without a charger, and they just expect you to use your old charging brick. And this one's kind of odd because it's a 15 volt. And so unless you have like a quick charge 3 or newer compatible charger, it may be down volting to 5 volts just because it can't reach the 15 volts. This one did come with a big old 45 watt charger. I do not believe this is a original Verizon charger, but this unit specifically does have a 15 volt output at 3 amps, so this is actually a pretty stout charger, and that was actually more than made it worth the $5 at the junk store that I paid for this. Was this 45 watt USB-C charger, even though it has a permanently wired cable. Bad idea. Always get chargers that have plugs, because if this wire breaks, the whole charger is dust, essentially. Has a little white LED, and versus a more vertical position, this is more laying down position. They have some silicone on it, so generally speaking, I mean, with cases, it holds it pretty well. I think one of the other issues people have with wireless chargers is you really got to get the darn device pretty well centered right on it, because you have a round coil in the back of the device and a round coil in here, and they really want to be just directly on top of each other to actually activate properly. A quick side note, and I've learned this lesson: do not attempt to charge small wireless devices such as smartwatches, even though, yes, you could even do something where you pull off the wrist straps and put the watch on a charger like this. It will charge, but it will ruin it, because this coil is much larger than this coil, so it ends up actually overdriving the coil and overheating the device. Remember, small wireless charging devices need to be on their small chargers. Anyway, at least on this device, and we'll actually try another device here, but if I just throw that on there, you can barely see the white LED. Kind of blinks, and then when it stays on, you know it's working, and then eventually the device actually wakes up. This is actually powered off, so you're seeing the power off charging screen because it's more obvious. And then it actually starts working just fine. Now this is set to do a slow charge rate, but it is, charging. And that's right through, once again, this super thick case. And as far as compatibility, I found another device here. This is old Galaxy S6. We'll just toss it on there and see if I actually get that centered. So much smaller a phone than what they used to be. I can see that the light is on again, and there it goes. So it's charging at least both of these Samsung devices just fine, including a much older one, the S6, which, by the way, still has an original battery. I've been pretty satisfied with that. That's battery's really held up. So that's my experience. This little one seems to work okay. With pure glass back phones, some people have mentioned that the glass doesn't grab too well, but both of these phones have glass screen protectors, and there's definitely plenty of tackiness there. Only has a slight slope, so I guess it just kind of depends. and I kind of like the desktop design. So it's kind of hit or miss, but I found these like on eBay for $10. So I think the biggest deal with these is just making sure, let me dig this up, that you actually have a proper charger that's Quick Charge 3.0 or newer, that specifically supports 15 volts, at least 1.5 amps, to really get this device working how it's supposed to. But I wouldn't pay much more than like 10 or 15 bucks, because there is compatibility issues, and you can certainly have one with this, or if you do buy it, get it from some place where you can at least return it. Otherwise, as far as aesthetics and the overall design, I think it's a good idea. The silicone surface is a good idea. I think having it flatter on the table, so you can just use it as a tabletop and be able to normally use the phone rather than having to be in a more vertical position, is helpful. I think one of the better things they could also do is have some kind of symbol right in the middle, kind of like an image or something of the coil. That way people are more promoted to get the device really well on there. Because I found if I have the phone up this far, down like this, if it's off to the side like this, it won't even activate. It has to be like really well centered. That's the easiest thing to say. It's surprising that the difference between perfectly centered and just being off a little bit like that can make a massive difference in the performance of a wireless charger, or whether or not it even initiates the charge in the first place. So anyway, there were no YouTube videos on this thing, even though I'm sure there are tens of thousands of these things out there. Verizon is huge. They have tens of millions of customers. So wanted to put in my 2 cents and give a little warning, but also say, at least for me and my little testing with these couple of devices and the S20 that I'm filming with, it all seems it works fine with them. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.